In the previous episode, we visited some of the most famous landmarks of Buenos Aires, including Tribunales, El Obelisco, and amazing architectures around Plaza de Mayo. Our quest to find out whether BA truly deserves the title Paris of South America continues as I got suggested by Google Maps to check out something that, to me, it was certainly, strikingly, and definitively French.
Anyways, we're gonna do more exploring starting right now. And right behind me, that's the National Congress building of Argentina. And right here, there's a statue of Rodin's thinker.
Yep. Actually, there is also a statue of the thinker in Paris as well. It's located inside the Rodin Museum, right next to Hôtel des Invalides. Don't ask me why you didn't see this from the Paris episodes. I was too cheap to buy a ticket to go into the museum. Alright? Wait, at least that's what I thought. Wasn't this museum also covered by the Paris Museum Pass? Alright, put the jokes aside. I didn't come here just to see Rodin's work. Now I want you to pay attention to the elegant building that's behind the thinker, the National Congress building of Argentina. It just looks monumental like many other great domes you see in other parts of the world, like the United States Capitol building in Washington DC and Basilica di San Pietro in Vatican City. It was quite shocking to me that Buenos Aires has so many grand buildings, despite Argentina being a relatively low-key country today, and its people have been suffering from one wave of economic crisis after another as long as I can remember. Are you also curious now? I will touch on some of the reasons a bit later in this episode.
And based on what I saw on the internet, at about 12:30, there's supposed to be a guided tour at the Congress building. So we'll see if we're able to get in. And but for now, probably I'm just gonna explore around this neighborhood and see what's out there. Let's go.
You certainly noticed one remarkable building by looking around the National Congress, Palacio Barolo. This building was one of the tallest in the Southern Hemisphere at one point, with the lighthouse on top could even be seen from Uruguay on a nice sunny day. The building's design took inspirations from how Dante's Divine Comedy depicts hell, purgatory, and paradise. Again, this would be a very costly building to construct, even by today's standards. How did Argentina even manage to secure the funds for its construction? Yet this building was not some sort of a show-off project of certain dictators. It was, and still is, just an office building. It was close to 12:30. I guess I'll answer all questions raised so far once I get into the National Congress building. Like the name suggests, the building is still a full-functioning government building. So when you visit, expect to show your ID and go through some security measures. Make sure to check out the most up-to-date time for English or Spanish tours, as well as how to access the building on the official tourism website of Buenos Aires. The building was inaugurated in 1906, but took another 40 years to fully complete the details that were included in the original blueprint prior to its construction, such as certain decorations and statues. During the time of filming, the English tours were running on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 12:30 p.m. But be there at least 15 minutes prior because you have to register, go through security checks, and even get your photo taken. The tour starts as soon as everyone has their procedures done, and in our case, a few minutes before 12:30, as only me and 2 other people were there by the time they finished the clearance for just 3 of us. Most of the materials used for the construction of the National Congress building were from different parts of Argentina. Some were custom ordered from Europe. Now let's tackle the fundamental question. How was Argentina able to afford expensive projects like the National Congress building and beautiful architectures you see across Buenos Aires? Argentina, despite being a relatively low-key country today, was an economic powerhouse with wealth that could rival the United States and even the British Empire at the beginning of the 20th century. This is the list of the top 10 GDP per capita countries today. Now imagine that Argentina was on this list just 100 years ago. With wealth obtained mainly through exporting the rich agricultural products of Las Pampas, Argentina, especially its capital city Buenos Aires, was able to commission the architectural masterpieces you see today. This also made Argentina a very popular country for immigration, attracting immigrants from all over the world. Ever heard of the USA being the land of opportunities? Argentina was another land of opportunities. The mass immigration that happened during Argentina's golden age in the early 20th century, most of whom came from Italy and Spain, had a long-lasting effect on the demographics of the country that is even noticeable today. Ever wondered why many big Argentinian names like Bergoglio, Messi, and Pagani all sound very Italian? Here's your answer. The visit to the National Congress building gave me a quick glimpse into what the interior of a Golden Age Argentinian architecture looks like. And of course, the guided tour was also very informative on the political history of Argentina. If you have time to spare and it happens to be on a weekday, El Congreso will be a great place to be. I personally find the exterior of the building to be much more sophisticated than the interior. So at least swing by and take a look for yourself from the outside. I could tell that whoever designed this building must have envisioned Argentina to be a worthy successor to Rome, implied by the architecture's grand neoclassical elements as the leading power of the Western world. Unfortunately, it was during the final phase of the completion that Argentina began to decline and never recovered. The Argentinian dream was interrupted before it came true. Afterwards, I took an Uber to a very famous steakhouse in the Palermo neighborhood, Don Julio, hoping to enjoy a great lunch.
Alright, just got into the neighborhood of Palermo, so I was trying to go to one of the most famous steakhouses. That's the one Messi went, I think a few weeks ago, and caused the whole havoc around this neighborhood. But the thing is, it's completely full, and the reservations I checked online was all booked out 3 months in advance. And I was told to come back maybe at 7 o'clock to see if there's any openings by then. But for now, I guess I'll just grab lunch elsewhere and then also explore the neighborhood of Palermo.
Hey, by the way, wanna guess where I went for lunch instead? A nearby KFC.
Alright folks, right now I am at Plaza Italia. So this is the, you can say, well, the center of the neighborhood of Palermo. And behind me is a statue of Giuseppe Garibaldi. So if you remember adventure in Nice, France. So Giuseppe Garibaldi was one of the main figures during the unification of Italy. And he was born in Nice, France. And of course, later we learned that the citizens of Nice decided that they would like to be a part of France rather than Italy. But here in Buenos Aires, because Italian immigration plays such a huge part in this country's history, of course Palermo is named after the city in Sicily. Well, a little nice park dedicated to Giuseppe Garibaldi and all the Italian Argentinians.
Today, Palermo is an affluent neighborhood in BA. Just like Paris, Palermo is a fashionable district with a vast park system, really reminding me of the gardens of Paris.
Wow, the park system here in Palermo, also known as Parque Tres de Febrero, is absolutely huge. I'm just gonna take a break here, and while taking a break, so there are a couple interesting attractions in this area, one of them being the Japanese garden. And they say this is one of the largest Japanese gardens outside of Japan. But I don't think I'm gonna visit a Japanese garden during this trip. Maybe I'll save it for another trip to Japan. So stay tuned, Sayu Rinpoche in Japan. I know, I made so many empty promises. I don't think we've really been to any of those countries that I referred to in the previous series. Yeah, folks, I'll try my best. Well, one way to really help me out is to click the subscribe button, and of course, whenever the new videos comes out, you're gonna receive the newest updates. And of course, if one of the new series happens to be one of the countries I mentioned in the previous episodes or previous series, you're gonna be the first one to know. And also, there's some sort of like a planet science world, that kind of stuff, but I think that's more like for kids. And then there's a rose garden, which is just right over there. So I'm gonna go take a look, see how it is like. Oh well, it appears that the rose garden is closed.
Okay, it's probably the time to deliver our verdict on whether Buenos Aires is or deserves to be called Paris of South America. There are countless similarities between these two cities. We haven't even seen some of other places in BA that will totally remind anybody of Paris, such as the neighborhoods of La Coleta, where I'll save the discovery for the next chapter of our BA adventure. But I guess it's pointless now. After seeing what the city already offers and all the comparisons by some vlogger who also kind of did an in-depth exploration of Paris, the verdict is clear. While Buenos Aires certainly deserves to be called Paris of South America, it is not Paris of South America. BA is a city of its own league, with unique cultures and charms that you cannot find anywhere else, including Paris. If you have watched the very first episode of this series, you'll probably find my verdict a no surprise, since I already said at the very beginning of that episode that I actually like BA even more than Paris. Okay, should we then start calling Paris Buenos Aires of Europe? To be honest, I think Paris certainly deserves to be called that. Anyways, our adventure of BA continues as we explore other areas of this magnificent city. While talking about what happened after Argentina's booming economy started to fade. Follow me to the next episode to find out.